Algeria is one of the countries that fought for independence of Africa from colonial powers. And even after gaining its independence from France in 1962, the country fought for the liberation of other African countries. And it is also the founding member of the Organization of African Union. And this July marks the 60th anniversary of independence from France. A very warm welcome to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is EBC Special Edition, and I'm Santayo Tamrat with this edition. My guest today is Algerian Ambassador to Ethiopia, Alhamdi Salah Francis. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, let's start our discussion with Algeria's Independence Day. And can you just tell us what it means to Algerians, to the country, and also to the spirit of Pan-Africanism?
Thank you. Thank you. First, allow me please to thank the Ethiopians through you, through your TV channel, for their generosity, their hospitality. Since we are here in Ethiopia, we feel like home. Regarding the fight of Algeria against colonialism, we have principles and values. We consider that every country and each country in our continent has the right to live in sovereignty, in dignity, and in independence. And we fought for this during 8 years. We paid a very, very heavy price. The sacrifice of 1.5 million people gave their lives for the independence of Algeria. We are very proud of that. And during our fight, and also after the independence, we continue to help others, particularly those who were still under colonialism, lots of them, particularly in the Austral Africa, and also those who were fighting against apartheid. We helped South Africa, we helped what was called at the time Rhodesia, and we helped Zimbabwe, we helped Mozambique, we helped Angola. For example, the independence agreement between the Portugal and Angola has been signed in 1974 in Algeria, and we are very proud of that, and we continue. We have a kind of values and principles shared by all the Africans. We still continue to give our support to those, the last colony in our continent, which is the Western Sahara, and we are giving the political, diplomatic support and all means to these people to let it express itself through self-determination referendum organized by the UN. We'll continue, and even outside our continent, we helped those in South America, in Asia, all those peoples who were fighting against colonialism.
Well, that's really nice. And can you just please tell us about the Ethio-Algerian ties, when it started and in what areas it has come through?
In fact, the relations between Algeria and Ethiopia started during our war against colonialism, when at that time His Majesty the Emperor Haile Selassie II was defending the position and the right of the Algerians to be independent through international tribunes. You know that Ethiopia is one of the founders of the UN organization, and also in all international eras since that time, and since the support given by the Ethiopians to the struggle of the Algerians against colonialism, we start our relation at that point. And we continued after the independence to build up on these relations, and now we are very happy to have a very, very tight link between Ethiopia and Algeria, and we are building up every day and step by step. We have very good political relations, and we are trying right now with the AFCFTA, which is the African Common Market, to build our economical relations and the integration, not only with Ethiopia, but all the continent itself. We think, and during the visit of Her Excellency, the President Saleh Work Zewde to Algeria, when she took part to the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the independence of Algeria in the 5th of July, she had been received by the President of Algeria, His Excellency Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, and they discussed the ways how to improve and to achieve our economical relations. And they think, and it's important to open as soon as possible a permanent air link between Algeria and Ethiopia, joining the two capitals, Algiers and Addis Ababa. This is the main tool we can use to let our businessmen from each part get in touch, travel to Algiers, and from Algiers to Ethiopia to discuss and to improve and to make some progress in our economical relations. The sectors are very numerous and very important in all fields, in agriculture, in industry, in pharmaceutical industry. We are covering 70% of our needs in Algeria, and we are ready to export and to help our brothers in Ethiopia to develop their own medicine industry. There is lots in building, in construction, in all sectors are able to make progress, and it's a virgin ground, so we can build on it. And we are preparing for the 5th session of the joint session committee of the bilateral cooperation, which will be held in Addis Ababa, we hope before the end of that year. We are working seriously, and we are preparing draft MOUs that will be signed at that occasion in many fields, in agriculture, in higher education, and scientific research, in judiciary, how to help each other, in industry, and all fields. In energy, we have great experience. We are an oil exporter country, and we are now exporting electricity to Europe, not only oil but also electricity to Italy. And we are ready to come and to help and to work together for the benefit of our two countries and our two populations.
Let me just take you to the current move by the Ethiopian government, which is a national dialogue. And what's your view on that, Your Excellency?
You know, in Algeria, we went during the 90s through a similar experience. We found at that occasion that the best solution is through reconciliation and national dialogue. At that occasion, we adopted through referendum a charter on national reconciliation and dialogue and peace, and we improved it on the ground. And now we reached stability through this charter, and alhamdulillah, we are enjoying stability, peace, and progress, and we are working all together in the same direction to improve our development in Algeria. And we are ready, of course, to share this experience with our brothers, not only in Ethiopia but all around the continent. And this was the proposal of my minister, His Excellency Mr. Lemtandr Amamra, when he traveled to Ethiopia last July. He discussed with the leadership here in Ethiopia and told them that we are ready to bring our experience and to let our brothers from Ethiopia benefit from it.
Okay, let me just hear from you. What major causes that led Algeria to the success of from its national dialogue?
It's the hearing each other. The best thing is to put on the side weapons and heinous behavior, and to start discussion and to listen to others, and to listen to each other, and to try to understand each other, and to try to find how to pave the way to find the common interest. When we have common interest, we work together to the same goals and to reach that goals all together. This is the best way. We consider that the best thing to do is to start dialogue. And when we are discussing, we necessarily found the necessary solutions for our crisis and conflicts.
How about just issues like inclusion within the national dialogue, as well as those factors like intrusion or interference from foreign actors?
You know that I will talk to you about the experience of Algeria.
Sure.
When the conflict in Algeria between those who were practicing terrorism imported from outside the country, which is not part of our religion or culture. Many foreigners, many countries, many states wanted to be involved in the internal affairs of Algeria. We stopped them. We said that we need to discuss amongst Algerians our Algerian problems and to find our own solutions. This is the best way. This is the best way to find solutions. If you leave, one of our main principles is not to be involved in internal affairs of others. And since we would like to be respected that way, we have also to respect others when we don't want to be involved in their internal affairs. We can, of course, bring experience or share experience, but it should stop at that point. We don't need to try to find solutions for others. They have to find their own solutions because they are the best ones who knows exactly what they need for their country to develop it and to make it stable and to make it live in peace altogether.
My next point would be an African issue, and it is really high time for the African continent to emancipate itself from economic, political, and cultural impacts of past and present globalization, colonialism, and the like agendas. So what is your take on this, and how should Africa can emancipate itself from such factors?
Yes, I think that with when we decided as African member states to move from the OAU, which was the former organization, continental organization, to the new one, the African Union. The idea was to develop the continent or all the member states of the organization and to let them move forward and develop themselves for more integration, for more peace, for more stability, and for the benefits of all of the member states. But still, involvement of foreigners in the African Union, in the African affairs, are still present in the continent. Our vision is to find African solutions for African problems, and we can do that. We can do that. We need only a kind of willing to do that, and we are on the right way. We are working hard to move on the straight steps to improve our more coordinations between our countries through the organization. We have all the tools and the means to develop more our cooperation at all levels, political cooperation to find solutions for our crises and conflicts. And you know that we are facing terrorism, for example. We are facing political crisis in some of our countries. We are also facing economical difficulties. We consider that the continent is the richest continent in the world, in fact, but we need to concentrate all our efforts on developing ourselves, our member states, and through that to develop our continent as a whole.
I usually feel that regional integration, particularly when it comes to the political integration, African leaders and African political elites can just bring together the different groups in their respective countries as well as in their respective regions. And in line with this, the EU's ambition for regional integration has been hampered by both the continent's problems as well as external problems, problems which are totally out of the African continent. So what do you suggest as the way out, and what is your country, Algeria, doing in that regard?
Yes, you know that apart from Ethiopia, who has not been even ever colonized, all the other member states have been colonized for a while, and we are still very, very young states, between 60 and 70 years, which is for a state or a nation, it's very, very short period of time. So we need more time to improve our democracy, our integration, regional and continental integration. We are working hard this way. And we are developing. If you look to the continent 10 or 15 or 20 years before, you're going to see that we made lots of efforts and progress in the right way. We need to make other efforts and to improve more our ways to develop our continental, regional and continental integration. We are doing it at the level of the African Union, even if we have kind of difficulties to do that, because our visions and our views, approach are not always the same. Of course, the involvement of foreigners in our main issues or our internal issues is one of the difficulties we should find a response to it and to fight it. But we are on the right way, and and in Algeria we are very optimistic that Algeria is the continent of the future, and we are working that way.
What is your country's position regarding African solutions to African problems? In fact, you mentioned earlier that Algeria believes in that, and I raised this idea particularly when it comes to few countries. In fact, this African solutions to African problems has been an idea that is reverberating, resonating across Africa. But there are just few countries that take African issues to organizations out of Africa, like the UN Security Council, the UN itself, and also to the Arab League. A case in point here is the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So what do you advise here, the African continent, African political leaders?
Yes, I think that in the African Union we have all the tools and the means to find the right solutions for our problems in Africa. We have the Peace and Security Council. Of course, the UNSC, the United Nations Security Council, is the main body to tackle the security issues all around the world. But we have our own tool, which is the Peace and Security Council, which is doing a very, very good job and finding solutions for all the crises. If you take all those countries who are now who fought in the past or experienced the bad situation in the past, and they are fighting right now others difficulties and facing difficulties, we can find solutions, and we have that willingness to find solutions for ourselves. It's the case for all kind of situation. Regarding the dam, we think that the three countries and all others should find their own solutions through dialogue and negotiations. We don't need to fight for this. All those who are boarding the river could sit around the table and discuss and find their own solution for the interest of their own populations and of the benefit of the whole.
In line with this, what do you say on Ethiopia's stance? In fact, this is not currently Ethiopia's stance. Any other countries that have just such transboundary water bodies also share this principle, and they say equitable use of water. Abai is not, or the Nile is not a different issue. What's your take on that?
Look, I'm not an expert, so it will be difficult for me to discuss how the water should be divided between or amongst the countries involved in upstream or downstream. I don't know exactly, but the main idea is to sit around the table to discuss and to find solution which will help everyone to has his part of the water, and which will be convenient to all of those countries who are sharing that water. That is, I'm not expert, so I couldn't tell you this should have that, or this country should have more or less. I'm not an expert, but I'm telling you that the main solution should be through discussion, dialogue, negotiation.
The effect of Russia-Ukraine war has hit Africa, and it may continue so. So how is just Algeria coping with that, and what should African countries do in order to extricate themselves from the effects of Ukraine-Russia war?
We consider that, as it is the case for the African member states or for the African countries, when we say that we should find solutions peacefully through negotiations, we consider that even between Russia and Ukraine, they could stay or sit around the table and discuss their issues and try to find solutions. I'm happy to tell you that 2 days before, the two leaders or the two countries signed an agreement in Turkey,
sure,
in Istanbul, to deliver wheat and food, and to avoid shortage of food for the continent. This is our concern as Africans, and would like to see the conflict between the two countries resolved as soon as possible, to come back to the natural life, peacefully life all around the world. And we say in Africa that we need to have peaceful and stable African member states, and it's the same for all around the world. Our fight is to find solutions, peacefully solutions for all kind of crises and issues which are not resolved by weapons. We consider that war is destructive, and is which all the difficulties which could be done through war. The best solutions are always to discuss issues and to negotiate to find peacefully solutions to any kind of problem.
Your Excellency Ambassador Alhamdi Salah Francis, thank you so much for joining me and just sharing your views on different issues, including the 60th anniversary of your Independence Day, and also the Pan-Africanism and how Africa can extricate itself from effects like globalization, colonialism, the regional integration we raised. Thank you so much again. I appreciate that.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you for inviting me to your TV and to your channel, and through you to the Ethiopians. Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, this is a conversation with His Excellency Ambassador Alhamdi Salah Francis, Algerian ambassador to Addis Ababa. Thank you so much for joining me. We shared just a lot of issues regarding the Algerian Independence Day, which was celebrated 5th of July. And also we raised issues like the impacts of Russia and Ukraine war on the African continent, and how African continent should extricate itself from the impacts. And we also talked about regional integration and the role of Algeria in such regional integration. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you another time.